What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome back to another edition of MVP Games Live right here on twitch.tv/MVPvids. I am joined from the ether today. You don't get to see his image today. He is just some voice in the ether, but I am joined, as I always am, by my beautiful co-host, Soapy Muffin.
It's me from beyond the ether. Let me go, Ricky. It happened 6 years ago.
Oh man, Soapy is like the voice of the gaming gods for today. Where is he? We don't know, but he is here and he is with us. And the reason why Soapy is in the ether, beyond the ether, however you want to put it, is today's going to be all about Ubisoft Forward, or as much as we can get out of Ubisoft Forward, because I'll be honest, kind of a dud in my mind, but we'll get into that in a second. First, let's get some housekeeping underway. And Soapy, the first thing I'm going to say in housekeeping, you know it, the Discord. Make sure to join it. Great way to talk to everyone from the Real MVP family. Link down below in the description on YouTube, or !Discord in Twitch chat gets you the invite to the Discord. It's a great place with great conversations. They are happening each and every day, even right now as we're doing the show. Number two, Patreon.com/MVPvids is how you can support the show. We've got great tiers for you to get rewarded with early content. You guys can participate with the shows, things like that, exclusive in Discord. Everyone gets into the Discord for free, but the voice chats are Patreon exclusive. Also, you can support us by being a Twitch sub and get everything that a patron gets, a bronze level patron gets, just for being a sub on Twitch as well. And then last but not least, we're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids, but we're also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment. Make sure to sub and follow us at both places. But Soapy, we're talking about Ubisoft Forward, and the thing I'm going to ask you to start, before we get into the games that were announced and the games that were coming out, I want to ask you, what was your overall feeling of the showcase of the Ubisoft Forward today for September 10th?
Honestly, I kind of found it a little disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
There were parts of it that I was kind of like, okay, like that looks okay. Because I think, honestly, and I'm probably going to sound stupid, I don't want to give away too much. I think it was the animated short they showed was probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
Okay.
And that's just because it had to do with Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Splinter Cell. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I was expecting to be more hyped. I'll be honest. If you guys haven't seen it and you're waiting to see what was revealed, there was no Assassin's Creed, which I was like, boo. Boo, give us something for Assassin's Creed. It's coming out on the 10th. You just announced it's coming out with Xbox. Go ahead and give us something from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And we'll just get into the first thing proper. Just like when you and I did the last one. Oh, what was it? Not State of Play. The Gamescom. Just like for Gamescom, the trailers are going to be playing up over my shoulder here in different gameplay. I've got different YouTube videos for you guys. But the first thing that we are looking at, as you guys can see on the Twitch and YouTube video, is the first thing they opened up with, Soapy, was Immortals Fenyx Rising. And overall, I've seen people kind of say that they're excited for this game. I mean, the trailer, this is the first thing that we saw out of the gates. And I'll say, I liked it. I liked looking at it. It was one of those things where I'm like, I can't wait to dive into this world and kind of see. It's kind of like an open world, but it has a story to it. You can kind of get cosmetics and gear through doing different things. But then they did their post-show, Soapy, and when they showed more gameplay, I basically got a little discouraged. Not discouraged, but it's almost like my thought of this game is that it's a cartoony version of Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not too far off. That's why I even made the joke when me and you were watching it together. I was like, wow, it almost seems like Ubisoft only knows how to make one style of game.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I don't want to make it like a shot at the game because, we haven't played it yet. And hell, I could enjoy the game. Who knows? like I just think there's a very strong chance that like I just won't be picking this up because it just doesn't feel unique enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels unique and it looks unique, but like it looks like a weird mixture of like Breath of the Wild with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and like it's just kind of a why would I play this when I could just go play Odyssey or I could just go play Breath of the Wild?
Well,
Games
and
that like I don't want to put a cap on them too early, but like games that I'll probably like a lot more than I'll
mm-hmm.
like this one.
Well, here's the thing then what they've got to do with this in my mind of because the gameplay like interface and everything looks so close to Assassin's Creed, like because there's going to be nothing new with the kind of gameplay side of it. And I'll play the other one. I hope this one has. Nope, this is Prince of Persia. Don't want to play Prince of Persia. But the thing that like I would think of it is your world and the kind of story that you're setting up. I have to be immersed in that world. Then I have like there has to be more emphasis on and the world. Like I'm looking at it, looks like a beautifully designed world. Is it more in that, like you say, Breath of the Wild style where it's more cartoony than what we're used to? Yeah, but like I don't think that's bad. The only thing that I say though is your story has to blow me away. And the story that they're going with is the deadliest titan of them all. They call them Tenton, I think. He's basically captured all the gods. When you start the game, Hermes meets you, and it's basically you gotta save the gods. And the story is told through the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's told through Zeus and who am I blanking on? Zeus and Prometheus? I think that's who it is. But it's told through two gods to where it's like this story has to nail and bring me in because as you guys can see on the screen right now, it just looks like a Assassin's Creed light with Breath of the Wild, like Soapy said.
Yeah, and my whole thing is if you're basing it off of Greek mythology, and obviously this is more or less of just kind of a thing with me of since I consider myself like a big mythology buff, please for the love of God get the representation of the gods right. Like that's all I'm hoping for. You can still hear me, right?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I can. I had to send a text really quick during the show. But like I don't know. Like I was excited for it, but then after seeing the actual gameplay, because like even when we were watching, you said you're like even the guide is the same, the little bird, like is exactly the same.
Yeah, and because obviously, like I was saying before, I asked if you could still hear me, was this is more or less just like this is like a super nitpicky thing for me. When people have the gods or anything in a game, with me being such a huge mythology buff, I appreciate if the gods are like given the proper representation. Of like, for instance, with the Greeks, don't give them the Roman versions. If I hear at any point in this goddamn game Pluto instead of Hades, the worst game of all time.
Yeah, and here's the other question I'm going to ask you is because we just had Assassin's Creed Odyssey, are they dipping back into the Greek mythology too soon? Like the Zeus pantheons? Because like we just saw a similar style or a similar ideology, I would say, in Assassin's Creed Odyssey that we would see here.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you can dip into it the same amount of times because the whole thing is though this is obviously much more fantasy mythologically based than what Odyssey was. Because with Odyssey, like we didn't really see the gods. Like obviously, like, there was like certain creatures or anything like that we saw, but like it was a very toned down mythological version from like what we saw in Assassin's Creed Origins, of where you basically see like physical representation of the gods. Like you basically fight Sobek
Yeah.
in Origins,
Yeah.
and in Odyssey they basically sit there and just like, hey man, Zeus kind of likes you. Be okay, all right. That's basically most that happens. So I think this, I just feel like this is like a okay way of doing anything that they wanted to do with the mythology part. It's just I kind of look at it and I'm like, is this really the best you could do with it? like obviously I don't want to make it, like I said, I don't want to make it sound like I'm shitting all over the game. You know, don't call me OBJ, but I just don't know
It's
how to
first
exactly feel
impressions
about
though.
this.
Like your first impressions are going to be your first impressions, and like although it's a type of game I feel like I would play, it's one of those to where it's like the first impression for me doesn't, like, it had an impact when I saw the trailer. Once I saw the gameplay, I'm like, okay, you're hitting me with a game that I've already, like, a game style that I'm used to, a interface that I'm used to, which is not a bad thing. That means there's no hurdle in that. It just puts an emphasis on the story of like, okay, your story needs to pull me in. Your story needs to kind of surround me and make me feel interested, because if I don't, I'm probably going to fall out of love with this game. And that's all I'm worried about is that,
Yeah,
is the
and
story
that's
going to be
something
enough for
that I
me?
think needs to be addressed. Is I think, and this was also my first thought of, is this almost like, is this going to kind of draw people back into that mindset of, oh, we're basically getting Assassin's Creed every year? Like, are they going to burn people out in their new format already?
I mean, it's just like Call of Duty.
You can't
Like,
hear me, can you?
no, I can. I can hear you. Can you not hear me? Please tell me you can hear me. I heard everything you were saying, by the way. You just couldn't hear me.
Oh, okay.
But what I was then going to say is it's kind of like the Call of Duty. Like, is Ubisoft going to turn into a one-trick pony to where it's like, yeah, they make other games, but this is their main style of game?
Yeah, and there's a very strong chance that's what they turn into.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, like, they were kind of doing that before
Yeah.
with the original format of Assassin's Creed,
Mm-hmm.
and then they switched it up, and they were like, okay, yeah, we're not going to release a new Assassin's Creed every year. And it's like, okay, cool. We're fine with that, as
Mm-hmm.
long as you don't burn us out in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem was, it wasn't so much the Assassin's Creed games that were burning us out, it was more or less of like, okay, every game you make feels exactly the same.
Yeah, and I mean that isn't technical. It's not a bad thing for a studio to have your own style and be like, this is what we do well. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe we play it and we go, hey, you know what? We shit on it for all the wrong reasons. Because like I said, when I saw the actual trailer, I was excited about it. But I mean, like I said, looking at it, it's like, am I gonna be playing this game and wishing I was just playing a Assassin's Creed game? Who knows? I'm still gonna play it. It's not something of like they didn't shy me away from the game. It's just I was excited after the trailer. Then the gameplay happened, and I was like, okay, it looks exactly like what I've been before. But like I said, sometimes that's not a bad thing. The less that a player has that's new, there's less of a hurdle. And like, even though you guys see it here, like kind of like controlling the arrow, that is straight out, like Zelda does that too. We did that in Zelda games, and we've done that in other games, not Ubisoft, that I feel like they're not making bad choices. It's just I wasn't expecting this, and I can't wait to play it and see what it's like in my own hands. We are getting this. This is coming out December 3rd. So we will get this at the end of 2020. It will be on the next gen when they come out. And before we move on to the next one, Soapy, do you have any final thoughts on Immortals Fenyx Rising?
I guess I'll finish it off with the one of the positive things I have to say, so it's not just me being negative the whole time. The game looks fucking beautiful.
It does. It's a beautiful world and a beautiful, like, the characters look nice.
Yeah, and that's something that I always think is really good, is if your game looks beautiful, even if like it's a boring game, you're gonna get people who care about it.
Yeah.
And it's because that's why I've always said in gaming, it always will be, to a casual fan, the looks matter more than the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can play a beautiful game, it could be the worst fucking game of all time, most people won't care.
Yeah. Because it was just it was physically mesmerizing. I said, I can't wait to play this game. I don't know, at the end of the day, are we going to look at everything we've looked at and said, okay, it was too much like Assassin's Creed? It's not bad to be too much like something you do well, but are people going to look at it and go, huh, I wish this was something different? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Soapy, let's move on. The next thing they showed us at Ubisoft Forward, I don't know exactly how I feel about this. And I say that because I'm a little conflicted. I'm conflicted in the sense of, as soon as I saw this, what you guys are seeing right now on your screen, I was like, okay, they're showing us Prince of Persia. This is going to be their Prince of Persia game. And they told us that it's going to be Prince of Persia Sands of Time. We're getting a remake of the 2003, the first game that got me into, like, this is the first Prince of Persia game that got me into the Prince of Persia fandom, where everything that you're seeing right now, I remember these cutscenes when I was a 13-year-old Ricky playing this game and how much I love this game. But here's my thought on this, and I don't want this to seem like I'm shitting on Ubisoft, and that's what it's going to seem like. But, like, while I'm watching this even again, I almost feel like, yes, the graphics from back in 2003 were not good. Yes, there are things that they've made look better in the game, but, like, I looked at the actual characters. I looked at the actual, like, Prince himself, the main character, and there's a part of me that goes, I know they're remaking an old game. They're remaking a game that's, what, fucking 17 years old at this point? But it's like, with the characters, I was almost like, is this going to be something, like, am I wrong for thinking the characters don't look as great as they could be? Unless I'm just like, it's just me being crazy.
Oh yeah, no, you're not wrong. Like, I said, I think I remember, I remember I said it during the thing of where, a game we talked about later, of where I even said, like, this does not look like a next-gen game.
Yeah.
This looks like a game, and I'm gonna sound like an asshole, and I don't care. This looks like a game that would launch on the 360.
Yeah.
Or, like, the PS3. And, don't get me wrong, like I said, I personally don't care for graphics. Like, a game can look shit, and I still would enjoy it, because, for instance, I'm like the only human being in fucking existence who played there was a Walking Dead game. I don't remember what it was called, but that game, like, it was just shit on by everyone. I liked it, mostly because that game looked like shit, but I liked it. But with this, I look at it and I'm like, okay, the graphics aren't the best, and obviously I know it's a remake of a 17-year-old game, but, like, I agree with you. You couldn't have done something better. Like, the ambiance in the game looks beautiful. It's just the characters. I look at them and I'm like, is that the best? Like, is that really the best you can do? Like, the main character looks like his name's probably like Melvin.
Yeah.
I mean, I know his name's not Melvin, but like, like, he just looks so out of place. Like, the rest of the game looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, when they showed the scene where he's running along the wall, that's fucking beautiful. Like, the ambiance and, like, the background lighting, everything.
Even the dagger itself. Like, the dagger itself, when it's on its side, when they zoom in on it, looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's just, when you look at the character, it's like, okay, why is the main character looking so much different than everything else? It's like, I know you want characters to stick out, but you shouldn't stick out in the way if people are like, okay, they just look ugly. No,
yeah, I get you. And, like, the one thing I do like, because, yet again, want to look at the positive, because I don't want this to seem like we're going to all be negative about Ubisoft Forward, is...
It is a majority of it, though.
The one thing I liked that the developer was saying is that they redid some of the combat and controls to bring it more into the kind of 2020 light of things. And then I like if you're going to remake a game, that's the thing I need to see from remakes, is what are you going to do differently to make it better? Because in my mind, if you're going to remake a game, you got to bring it into 2020. You got to bring it into the future. And I realize when it comes to looks, like, there's only so much you can do based off of the base material, unless you're going to, like, hey, we're revamping the entire game, because there are some remakes where, like, shit, this looked way better than I thought it would. but I'm interested to see the new combat features, the new features they talked about with wall running and stuff that are some of the problems that I had back in 2003 not going to be there anymore because of the fact, hey, we thought of things that we didn't do in 2003 that we're able to do now.
Yeah, and I mean, even in the trailer, they show like bits of the combat. Because, for instance, there's a very brief part, and the trailer basically went right past it. You can see someone swinging. You kind of see like something above them light up. So I almost kind of feel like, and I don't always want to like just compare everything to like do games that came out. Kind of like how in Avengers, how like the combat, like whenever someone's about to hit you, like an indicator pops up above them. So kind of basically like every game where you have to do stuff like that. There's a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, my fucking brain just stroked out for a second.
You good.
Yeah, it's when the indicator popped up, I'm like, are there counters in this game? If so, you probably should have shown them.
The other thing I like from this is the same exact guy who played the Prince back in 2003. They brought him in, and he is doing the mo-capture for the Prince for the remake.
Nice.
So it's like that I liked because even the one developer from Ubisoft India was like, yeah, his voice has not changed. She's like, it's been so many years, and she's like, I don't know how his voice has not changed. So it's like that I like. You re-recorded the line. Like, I wonder if because of that they re-recorded things to kind of maybe change dialogue to like make it a better game. Like if you're gonna remake a game, make it a better game. Build off of it. Don't just give me the same game that you gave me back in 2003. And this we will be able to play in January. It's going to be a nice birthday gift for me, coming out just 4 days after my birthday. January 21st, 2021 is when we'll be able to get our hands on this. However, as they said, pre-orders are able to happen right now. Soapy, the next thing we are talking about is a game that they showed briefly. And I know right away this is going to be a game that is not going to be up your alley because it's a like battle royale kind of a shooter game. But it's basically called Hyperspace or Hyperscape. And it is a free-to-play first-person shooter battle royale developed, obviously, by Ubisoft. That's why they're showing it. And the first trailer before this one played, they played another one that kind of had, like, streamers playing it and stuff. And I was going to just think, what is your thought on this? Yet again, you and I are both not battle royale people. Warzone is probably the only battle royale that I've dove into the most, and I probably am going to dive into Warzone a lot more when the Call of Duty Cold War comes out. What was your thought on Hyperscape? And even though you're not a battle royale guy, what do you like or not like about it?
I mean, I like how they're at least trying to take a different approach to the battle royale. Where like, even throughout the thing, they're like, oh, like it's only max level gear. It's, like faster closing, and the game just seems fast paced. I think that's always been my problem over like battle royales always have like the same like meticulous, slow, like I gotta loot every fucking building, like aspect to it. And I feel with this, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is gonna make me play a battle royale, but like this is gonna make me at least be like, maybe I consider it. And it's just because, it's not the slow-paced, like, like, I gotta open this chest, or, I gotta I gotta scroll through my inventory really slowly.
And not just that, like, I've even seen, like, watching Dr. Disrespect stream, where he's even complained in Warzone, where it's like, come on, there's so little people here. Like, why isn't this ring moving already? To where, like, he's even said on the one where it's just, like, solos, where some of them, it's like, holy shit, these maps are way too big for the few individuals that are here, and the ring that you have that comes in for most Battle Royale games doesn't move fast enough. So the game like slows down. And I don't know for Hyperscape because I don't play it. If this is just like, it seems like what they're showing today is like just the new mode that they're calling turbo mode. And that's why you are seeing this like quicker pace to a game. And hey, more power to them, because the thing that I think is exactly what you have. Some battle royales, it's a slower pace sometimes. Like, for example, when I played Fortnite for the little bit that I did, I was a camper. I would hide. I would move in with the circle and just hide from people.
Camper.
Yeah, I would wait until I'm like top 3, the last 3, go out there, boom, get a kill, I win. And that's how I got all my wins in Fortnite.
Man, dude, filthy goddamn camper. I didn't know I was doing a show with a camper.
Well, yeah, it's because Fortnite, the thing I hated, and I am totally not ashamed to say this, I couldn't get the building down. The whole, like, building quick enough and putting things up, not for me. Like, I just couldn't do it. So I'm like, I'm going to get my weapons. I'm going to make sure that I stay hidden, kind of stay out of the action. Make sure I get down to those final 2 and then hopefully win a gun battle to win. Because I knew I could do. I'm like, I could win a gun battle if I knew that. But let's move on, Soapy. The next thing on our docket for Ubisoft Forward was a game I didn't know we were going to get. I'm pretty sure it's a remake because you even said, like, holy shit, this game was dope. What were your thoughts when you saw Scott Pilgrim Against the World Complete Edition?
I was happy as fuck, dude, because I love this game. It's one of those things of when I first played it back, I believe the game actually came out 10 years ago. I think that's why they had the birthday cake with the 10 bit. Like, when I played it 10 years ago, fucking absolutely loved it. And I still love it. It's one of those things. Scott Pilgrim has always been one of those like graphic novels that I've always liked. Which obviously, I'm just, I'll be the guy. Don't make Scott Pilgrim and Ramona relationship goals because literally at the end of the thing, this isn't even a spoiler. They actually straight up say that they're perfect for each other because they're both shit people. But
so you don't like Scott and Ramona being together?
I love them. Well, I mean, I hate the people who are like, I want a relationship like Scott Pilgrim and Ramona. It's like, they're literally both shit people.
Okay. So it's like the same people that, this is a side tangent, the same people that I hate where it's like, I want to find they see Harley Quinn and want to be Harley Quinn. They go, I want a boyfriend like the Joker. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because read the comics. He is way worse to Harley Quinn than they could show in a cartoon or a movie. I don't think you want that little girl.
I mean, it's the same thing with Scott Pilgrim.
Okay.
It's literally like Ramona's a shit person and Scott's a shit person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's why they literally say they're perfect for each other because they are equally shit people.
Does Scott Pilgrim abuse Ramona verbally and beat
may
her?
As well.
Okay.
He may. Well, because there's literally a thing in the comics where they're sitting there and Ramona's like, "You're the nicest person I've ever dated," and he's like, "That's fucking sad."
Okay, good point. Sean, there are girls out there that want to be like Harley Quinn. They want a Mr. J. They are out there, I promise you. And I look at them with that, like, the Rock eyebrow of like, really? Really? That's what you're looking for in life? But I'll be honest, this was a game 10 years ago I didn't play, but with this remake, I may dive in and play it now that I've got a little bit more time on my hands, because the thing that I like most about it is this is what you expect from a Scott Pilgrim game. You expect a beat-em-up style, and I completely love the 8-bit style of it. Plus, it looks like at the end, I'm going to go back and freeze it. When it says here the Knives Chow add-on pack and the Wallace Wells add-on pack, is that new things that they're adding to the complete edition, or were these two add-on packs that the original game had that they're going to include with the complete edition?
I'm not exactly sure. As much as my memory is sometimes good.
Yeah.
I can barely remember shit from 10 years ago, so...
I saw that and I was like, I wonder if that's new content that they made and they're adding to it, or they're like, hey, these were 2 add-ons that came with the original game that you had to buy, but hey, this complete edition includes these 2 add-on packs that came out also 10 years ago. But Soaps, let's move on to the next thing. We had two little trailers for this. I'm only going to play one of them. I will say, though, what they showed us, I was not exactly hyped for it. Watch Dogs Legions, it does come out right before Halloween, October 29th, 2020. What are your thoughts on Watch Dogs Legions? Because from what I saw, there were some good concepts that they tried to put in, but overall, I don't know if Legion hit the mark for me.
Yeah, it's I do want to preface this ahead of time. You know, all the characters look like like people in The Sims.
Mm-hmm. Or like we said, GTA 5.
Yeah, like the weird fucking outfits you see people make on GTA Online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will say this right now. I never thought in my life a trailer would make me not want a game more than Watch Dogs Legion has done.
Mm-hmm. I get what they're doing, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just on the outside.
Yeah, it's my whole thing is the way I look at it is I wasn't a huge fan of Watch Dogs to begin with. And seeing this, I'm just kind of like, why? Like, what makes this a game that, like, I'd want to play? Like, why would this want to get me into Watch Dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole thing is, every time when they're showing the characters, like, I look at it, I'm like, the character design isn't that appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't really show gameplay. They're just kind of like, oh, well, look what these characters can do. It's like, okay, that's cool and all, but you want to show me something that, you know, matters? Like, I don't care that I can play as a fucking old guy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was cool, though. Like, the thing I did like one of the only things they're like, well, you could use Cletus over here, and he can do this, but you might want to not do that because he doesn't move really fast. Or you could use this guy for this stealth mission, but that might not go your way because he has the hiccups. Like, there's a part of me that's like, really? You wrote into the character's ability that he hiccups too much? Like, something about that, I'm like, it made me chuckle. But then again, there was a part of me that's like, okay, do I want to play this game? Because when you look at how this game is described, it's the upcoming adventure game from Ubisoft Toronto. Obviously, it's the 3rd installment in the series, and it's a sequel to the second one. And I wonder if, because correct me if I'm wrong, Watch Dogs 1 and 2 were they open world and you were just playing as Aiden Pierce, correct?
I believe the first one you were playing as Aiden Pierce. Okay. I don't think you were playing as him in the second one, but yeah, they were open world.
Yeah, but you were only playing as one person though, right? You didn't have like a squad?
I think in the second one there was 3 characters, I think.
Okay. Well, okay.
I only played the first one, so.
Okay. Then, like, to me, it's like, is this going to be, of course you want to be different, but is it going to be too different to where, let's say in the second one, let's say it was 3, because Watch Dogs is a game, I have both of them in my PlayStation library. I just have not played them. But, like, I bought them when they were cheap, and I'm like, oh, I should check them out because I've always wanted to play Watch Dogs. Is this going to be something where the first one was easy because you had one person, the story was concise? The second one was, hey, we had 3 characters, but we could still have the same concise story. Is this one going to be too convoluted because you have too many mix and matches of who you can put into your party or your team for Watch Dogs to where it kind of takes away from the story? And I'll be honest, the graphics didn't really hit with me. The gameplay didn't really hit with me. Like, this is something to where it's like, maybe it's because I'm not completely locked in on the Watch Dog franchise. Maybe that's why I'm looking at it and I'm going, I don't know, this is probably a dud for me. Let me take that back. Not a dud of like, it's going to be a bad game, but a dud of like, this does not look like my type of game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel exactly the same. Like, this is a game that the only reason I even thought about it, I was like, oh, like, I heard Watch Dogs 2 wasn't that bad. And I saw, like, the cover, and I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, like, people wearing pig masks, that's interesting, I guess. And now just seeing this, it just really makes me be like, man, maybe I should, maybe I don't like Ubisoft as much as I thought I did.
Yeah, and like, I know they also showed two things that we didn't have on there. They also had the Rainbow Six Siege Cup. They had an announcement for that. Tony Parker is the French ambassador, which was kind of cool. Like, I was watching it with you, and I'm like, wait, is that Tony Parker? Like, what's Tony Parker doing here? They also showed the trailer for fucking, what's his name? Sam from Splinter Cell being in Rainbow Six, which for me, I'm not a Splinter Cell guy, so I'll have you talk about it. Like, did that hit the mark with you? Were you excited for that? Would you be a person that's like, I gotta play Rainbow Six Siege now because I gotta play as Sam Fisher?
I mean, I already play Siege anyways, so.
But I mean, like, did it make you go, holy shit, I gotta boot the game up right now to play as him?
Well, no, because I think he's already out.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because play as him right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to make people be like, oh shit, dude, let me drop everything in the world because, right now I got the fucking Borderlands 3 DLC to beat.
It ain't the Krieg DLC. Krieg above all.
Yeah, it's not the Foster Cluck that I'm ready for, but I still love that that's the name of the DLC, by the way.
Hey, it fits. It fits like a fucking glove, my guy. Fits like a glove.
Yeah, the fantastic Foster Cluck. But, I mean, it was alright. The animated short, like I said, it was like the art style didn't really appeal to me, but like it makes Sam Fisher look like a badass in it.
Yeah.
Especially since we know at some point Sam Fisher's getting his own animated show. Hopefully that's not the art style.
Yeah, it was a little choppy, and not choppy, but like chunky at spots.
Yeah. Yeah, because whenever they would have whenever they would show like their face movie, you could see the frames of when they drew it, which obviously, in some places that art style works. But I think in the aspect of what that animation was going for, it fits. It's just not my personal art style. Because, like, for instance, I almost want to say the Boondocks kind of did a similar thing, like early on.
Yeah.
Of where, like, obviously before they refined the artwork for it, it was, like, if people moved, you would see, like, their eye would stretch out or something. Or, like, you could see, like, the individual frames being moved.
Soapy, you're going to keep talking about things. I got a knock at my door. I've got to check out quick.
Okay. But, yeah. They showed that Sam Fisher basically took down three of the operators by himself. Or technically 4, because he took down Mira, Smoke, Echo, and Auric. Also, I don't know if I like the design of Sam Fisher in the game, because the whole thing is like Sam Fisher has always been more of like a slim character. Like he's never been like a super thick boy. But everyone in Siege is like this, like, not burly, but like they're like a larger player model. So like obviously going from like playing like Splinter Cell Conviction and like all the other Splinter Cell games with Sam Fisher to then going to the fact of, oh, hey, now he's in this game and now he's a thick boy just out of nowhere. Like it kind of threw me off. But I think they also briefly showed in there as well with the animated short. They kind of showed off his ability of where he basically has a better Twitch drone. So that's fun. Power creep is a great thing in competitive games. And by great, I mean it's the fucking worst thing ever.
So, all right. Sorry about that. Basically, it was I have no shame in saying this. It was basically my sister at the door. And before she could say hello, she had to mention how I need to lose weight. So now there's someone else on top of Dave telling me I need to lose weight. I get it. I know, guys. Last thing, though, Soapy, don't mean to cut you off. Thank you for keeping everyone going while I had that interruption. There's one last thing we got to talk about, though, and I don't know what I have to say about it. Riders Republic. This was a game that basically in my notes I put down Tony Hawk, but MMO world, where it looks like you're doing extreme sports, and it's an MMO. It's a multiplayer online kind of a game. I'll be honest, I don't dive into this one. This one is not my style at all, but Soapy, did you have any good things or bad things to say about Riders Republic?
I mean, if you want, I can do the deep dive on this if you want to stretch for time.
Go ahead. I mean, a deep enough dive. Like, we don't have to go super, but yeah, give us the rundown for Riders Republic. Try to sell me on it, because I just didn't see a selling point for me to want to check this out.
There's not a selling point for me either, but I mean, obviously, it almost kind of seems like they're taking like this weird, and when I word it this way, obviously some people are going to kind of be like, oh, like, why are you wording it like that? Like, they're almost taking like a Far Cry New Dawn approach to like how it's, to make it like eye-popping, of where it's like there's like all like the blue and pink smoke everywhere, because that's what they did in Far Cry New Dawn, because basically they stole the idea from Rage 2.
Yeah.
Of where Rage 2, to make itself stick out, because Rage 1 and Rage 2 are completely fucking different looking. Like, in the second game, obviously the more show the, like, the, oh, like, ha ha ha, this is goofy, not, like, serious like Rage 1 was. Of where it's like colorful and all that. And, like, and with this one, they have it where there's moments where, like, people are super colorful. They're also showing, like, the weird outfits you can have, like, where there's the dinosaur, there's a giraffe, there's a rabbit, which, there's a rabbit later in this trailer that is fucking disgusting. When Twitch chat sees it, I hope you guys vomit almost like I did, because that thing was gross.
Oh, you're talking about the rabbit that basically, like, his hands are like this, and it's like, what is that rabbit doing?
Yeah,
is that like, rabbit okay?
Elongated.
Is that rabbit got human arms, man? What's going on here?
And it's also nice to know we basically have a Marvel superhero in here. We have fucking Hawk in here.
I mean, there is we saw Falcon. Squirrel Girl could have been that rabbit. Who knows? The two things that I did like, and one of them you guys can see right now, I like the X Game course. I like the Red Bull Rampage course. Like, that's cool. I don't get the appeal of when I do like an extreme sports game. Like, I think of Tony Hawk. It's usually me against the clock trying to get a high score. Like, for me, I don't necessarily think as an extreme sports game as a multiplayer open world game. If that makes any sense, because like we were watching the one game mode in this trailer where it's like they did a grind, oh, it's blue, then someone else did a grind, oh, it's purple, and it's like, I get some people may like that, but for me it's like that would drive me crazy, because it's like, great, I gotta basically just do tricks and hope my team did enough tricks to have more of the things kind of locked down. The only thing that kind of looked cool to me is like what you're seeing right now and being like one of the parachuters, because that's the most different than what we've gotten. We've gotten skateboarding games, snowboarding games, biking games. To me, it doesn't hit the appeal. And that kind of brings me into like the thing I was going to say to kind of like wrap up for Ubisoft Forward is, I think this show overall was not scheduled correctly. I don't think the format for how they laid everything out is good, because it seemed like a show that hit me in the face with the two things I was expecting, the two heavy hitters, and then it didn't have anything that blew me away. Like when we saw Assassin's Creed, and then we saw Immortal Fenyx to start the show, I was thinking, oh shit, they've got to end it with Valhalla. They've got to end it with maybe something about Valhalla. And we saw nothing about Valhalla, and that releases in November 10th. Like, that releases around the same time as Immortal Fenyx Rising. That releases just after Watch Dogs. And why did we not see anything from Valhalla when that's your biggest game? That is the one that people are probably tuning into this going, holy shit, maybe we see something. And I think Ubisoft dropped the ball. They gave us everything we wanted up front. Immortal, and there's the rabbit, by the way. Immortal here. I'll backtrack. I'll pause on that rabbit, Soapy.
Oh,
so they
dude,
can see it.
Fucking makes me sick.
So they can see it while I'm talking. I'm glad I caught it out of the corner of my eye. There's the rabbit that Soapy was talking about. You guys tell us what the fucking longs are. The arms are so long. It's like Jesus Christ. It just don't look right.
Horror movie.
Yeah, don't look right. I feel like Ubisoft dropped the ball with this Forward. Where are there things here for everyone? Yes, but I think that this show was like, if Prince of Persia and Immortals were your two heavy hitters, have one of those go last. I would have had Prince of Persia go last, but also at the same time, I'm sitting here and I'm going, why wasn't Assassin's Creed Valhalla on this show? I don't know. It seemed like a ball that was dropped for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason Valhalla wasn't on here is because there are YouTubers who have already had access to the game.
Yeah,
and they've already put out like content and stuff like that, of where like they've gone over like the beginning parts of the game that they're allowed to show.
Yeah, but
like,
you could at least do something, even if it's just even if it's a trailer to get us pumped for boom, it's coming out November 10th. Like, that's another thing. Why then drop that yesterday? Like, if you're going to have this Ubisoft Forward, why drop that news yesterday? Drop it today. End the shit. Like, we were talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla being like, oh, it's released and it's coming out November 10th. That should have been the closing thing for this show. It should have been, oh, by the way, Assassin's Creed, November 10th with Xbox, mic drop to end the show. Here's the post-game show. That's what it should have been, and they dropped the ball. Dropped the ball. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with you on that. I think we should have seen something from it, because like you said, it is their biggest game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, I get hyping up your smaller titles.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, you know, like for instance, I never would have fucking even looked at Riders Republic if it wasn't for this.
But you got to use the big titles to get the little titles their day in the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like, bring the people in for the big titles, and then they see the little titles, and then they're surprised, like, oh shoot, I wouldn't have liked that. Wouldn't have known about it if I didn't come here for the Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, and I mean, and to be honest though, I think I kind of went into the show kind of knowing like it's not going to be that good. Because every other Ubisoft Forward is also boring as fuck, because they don't ever show the game anyone wants to see.
Yeah.
Like, I think the biggest game that they announced, or that they show stuff here for, is Legion. And even at that, it's why exactly would, like, there's no reason for anybody to watch the Ubisoft Forward when the only thing that you didn't do what? Like, who cares about fucking Scott? Like, as much as I love Scott Pilgrim, don't get me wrong. Who cares?
You would have rather seen Valhalla.
Yeah, I would have rather seen, oh, I don't know, your biggest fucking game?
Mm-hmm. That comes out November 10th.
Yeah, I would have rather, oh, I don't know, talk about your biggest game out right now in Siege, and have more shit about that?
Yeah.
You know, like, give us more of, like, we have the roadmap for the season. We know it. Give us maybe some fucking sliver of something to look forward to. Because obviously I know the new season just came out.
And I will say, before the show happened, they had things for Division 2's new season, For Honor's new season. I think something with the Siege. Part of me is like, well, why didn't that make the show? Probably because they only wanted it to be an hour. But like, I'm playing the Assassin's Creed trailer here because at least we'll get to see something from Assassin's Creed today. With me, I think the ball was dropped. They had their two heavy hitters early. It was not a well-paced show. And it left me wanting, to quote A Knight's Tale. And you never want to be left wanting, Soapy. That's a bad feeling when you leave something wanting.
Yeah, and that's where I think, you know, Ubisoft in the future needs to, you know, they really need to step up their game with making there a reason to watch the forwards.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is, like, when you watch stuff, like, when you watch, like, the Xbox Showcase, or, like, whenever PlayStation does their thing, whenever Nintendo does their thing, hell, even E3, There's at least one huge title there.
Yeah.
Every time.
No.
Because like obviously, like I don't know if with the PlayStation 1 if we really got like a super huge one, because I honestly don't fucking remember it.
What?
Like at all.
You're talking about like game?
Yeah.
Like Crash Bandicoot. That's what I would say. Like Crash was on PS1. That was probably the biggest, like, that's a PlayStation game.
Yeah, but and that's kind of where I think it's really a situation where Ubisoft really does need to start prioritizing things better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally get it. Any final thoughts before we wrap up the show?
It's kind of sad. The only thing that I cared about in this entire show was a game that's 10 years old.
Yeah, for me, it was the two things we saw at the beginning. Immortal Fenyx Rising. Can't wait to play it. Prince of Persia Sands of Time. Of course, I'm going to pick up that remake, but let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. Also, make sure to check out the Discord link down below or in Twitch chat, !Discord. Get you that link. It's a great time to talk to everyone from the Real MVP family, talking about all the things we love each and every day. There was a movie conversation today about Black Widow. Jump in on that. It's great. Also, come and support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. Patrons get things like voice chats. We're doing a watch along for a football game tonight. Patrons get that. Silver and above get to interact with the show in a way that non-patrons do not. Also, you get content early. And also, thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. Last but not least, we are on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. But we are also on YouTube at MVP Entertainment. Go ahead and sub to us both ways. Also, if you sub to us on Twitch, that's the same as being a bronze level patron. Just keep that in mind. But that's going to do it for Soapy and I. We will be back tomorrow, as we are always here on MVP. We'll be wrapping up the week, giving you all the latest in gaming news. Want to thank you guys for checking out today's show. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye. I fucking forgot to do that.